So moving forward to our chocolate buttercream icing, for which you'll need some unsalted butter if you like your sweetness, and if you want to tone your sweetness down, you can use salted butter, or you can add a pinch of salt and that will just tone your sweetness down just a little bit. And you need some sifted icing sugar, and you need some cocoa powder. Again, my cocoa powder brand is Roundtree's, but you can use whatever you want. To make one recipe, you need 250 grams of butter, which is 1 block, and you need 300 grams of sifted icing sugar, and then you just add the cocoa powder to taste. You can add vanilla extract too if you prefer, but I prefer not to add it into this one because I don't like the vanilla coming into my chocolate buttercream, so I just prefer adding the cocoa powder. So first you want to get your butter has to be at room temperature, so it's not too soft but it's not too hard as well. So this has been sat since morning outside just to get it to come to room temperature. And because I'm making 4 lots of buttercreams, I have just put 4 lots of ingredients in. And I always use Lurpak as I find it's the best butter, but I've recently heard that Aldi also have do a nice butter. So if you've ever tried that, do let me know in the comments and let me know what you think of that butter. Is it better than Lurpak, or is Lurpak still the best? I've always used Lurpak. And the icing is 1 kg 200 grams of icing sugar, and it's sifted. Even a new pack, I always sift it, because the more air you get into your icings, including royal icing, the more airy and fluffier it'll be, and it'll be really, really nice. So what you first want to do is beat your butter until very pale or until it's really, really soft, and this can take up to 5 minutes or more. I usually do it for 10 minutes because the more you whisk the butter, the more paler and whiter your buttercream icing is. And then I will add icing sugar, and then I will give it a quick mix to make sure everything's equally combined. And then I will add it all the icing sugar, and then I will whisk for a further 10 minutes to make it even more fluffy and pale. And then I will add cocoa powder to taste, whether you want it a little bit darker brown, or you want it light brown, or you want it to taste more chocolatey. That's completely up to you. So we're going to go ahead and get it whisking. And then once I've done that, I'll show you what the butter looks like. So I've just whisked this up for around 10 minutes. And can you see how some of the butter is whiter than the other? It's more paler in colour. I've just mixed it up and scraped it off from the bottom and the sides as best as I could, and then I will give it another whisk for 5 minutes, and then I will start adding my icing sugar slowly. The tip for white buttercream is the more you whisk your butter, the more paler and whiter and creamier it'll be. So you want to whisk it as much as possible before starting to add your icing sugar. Now that the butter is creamed and is pale, and we've whisked it up for about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, we're now going to start adding the icing. You first want to add around a third of your icing sugar, and then mix it in well on low speed. And then you want to add another third and add your flavouring as well, if at this point you want to add your flavour. And then give that a quick mix as well on low speed. And then you want to add your final remaining icing and give it a good mix on medium speed. And there we have our yummy, delicious chocolate buttercream. It's ever so fluffy and soft. Just look at that texture. It's so smooth. There's no clumps in it at all. I'm now just going to try this and tell you what it tastes like. Absolutely delicious. You cannot go wrong with this recipe, and you definitely want to try this. It's absolutely perfect. There's not too much sweetness to it. It doesn't have a buttery taste either. You can not taste the butter at all. And I'm not a big fan of buttercreams that usually have a butter taste, because you can taste it, and I really want to taste the icing and the sweetness of it. and this is absolutely perfect. So do try this. This was my yummy chocolate buttercream icing recipe. Now let's move on to our last and final recipe, which is the vanilla and coconut buttercream icing.